Hello everyone and welcome back to the Adams Eats Kitchen. How are we doing? Hope you're well and you've got some nice plans for the weekend. Right, today's recipe. Now, this is something that I thought I'd come up with, right? I thought, right, combining a pizza, frittata, you know, bring the two together. I thought, wow, that's an amazing combination. Surely no one's thought of that before. Turns out they have. I was a bit kind of disheartened. I thought, well, kind of like a eureka moment for me. I thought, wow, I've created this amazing new thing. Nah, it's been done before, folks. But I'm going to make it nevertheless because it's delicious and it's really simple to make. And all it basically is taking the toppings from a pizza and combining it with a frittata. And if you don't know what a frittata is, it's basically like an Italian omelette. And I have done one before, way back in the channel's early days, just before Christmas, which was a Brussels sprout frittata. So I'll leave a link for that so you can check that one out as well. Now you can mix up the toppings if you want. You know, you can use all sorts of different things. You can use some ham, you know, pineapple if you want to, but please don't. Egg and pineapple, bah. But I'm going to use some salami, some buffalo mozzarella, some fresh basil and some tomato sauce. Just some good quality jarred sauce because I haven't got any homemade left. But if you've got homemade, then use that. So without me waffling on any longer, if you hit that pause button, make a list of what you need and we'll go and get cracking. Bellissimo! Right, okay, so to make our frittata, there's very little prep to do. I'm just going to chop up some of this salami, the basil, and I've also got a few black cherry tomatoes here. You don't have to put these in, but they're in my garden, they were growing, and they needed using up, so I'm just going to chuck them in. So the first thing I'm going to do is take some of this salami and take it out the packet. All I'm going to do with this is just stack it up, so it's all kind of together, and just roughly cut it into chunks. Nice bite-sized pieces, I suppose. Okay, just like that. Shimmy that to one side. And I'm just going to chuck in these tomatoes. Again, you don't have to do this. I'm just going to cut them into little pieces. Okay, shimmy those to one side. Okay, next we're going to get some basil. I'm not going to use loads because there's going to be basil in the sauce. So I've got about 4 large leaves here. Just going to roll it up into a cigar shape and then just slice thinly into ribbons. Only once. Don't cut basil more than once because you'll bruise it easily. Again, mix that with everything else. And then the next thing we'll do is crack our eggs into this jug. And all we're going to do is just crack these into the jug. Try not to get the shell in. And then to the eggs, I'm just going to add some pepper. Just a pinch of salt, not too much because there's going to be salt in that salami as well. And then just gather up all of your ingredients and then chuck those in. And then taking a fork, you want to lightly beat these together. Make sure everything's combined and all that salami is evenly dispersed. So that is the mixture done, so we can now get on and cook the frittata. Right, so I've got my well-used frying pan on the heat here. You don't want it too hot, you want it low to medium, because if it's too hot, you're going to burn the bottom of the frittata. And you also want a frying pan that's got kind of angled edges. If it's like a straight-sided pan, you're going to have a hell of a time getting it out. So make sure it's got that kind of nice angle on it. And then to that, I'm just going to add a nice generous knob of butter. And once that butter's melted, you can add your egg mixture. And you can see pretty much straight away that the edges have just started to set already, and there's no aggressive heat here, okay? It's nice and gentle because we don't want to burn the bottom, because what we're going to do is pretty much cook it to 90% all the way on the hob like this, and then we'll finish it off in the grill with the mozzarella and the salami on top. Just look after it, give it some love, you know, tuck the sides down a bit with a spatula. I would say cook that for between about 3 and 5 minutes. And a good way to tell as to how far it's cooked is if you just tilt it slightly, you can see how much it's set. You can see the kind of solid bit underneath, but this has got quite a way to go yet, so just keep tending to it. And I'll see you in a minute. Once it's at the point, we can take this off. Right, so I've been cooking this for about 3 minutes and it's at the stage that we need to take it off the heat. Because if I take my spatula, you know, just run it across, you can see the set part just underneath, and we want this kind of runny on the top because we're going to finish it under the grill. So I'm just going to turn off the heat, and at this point as well you want to get your grill nice and hot. The first thing I'm going to add is some of this tomato bruschetta topping. You can use pasta sauce. I think some kind of red pesto would be quite nice, I think. I like this just because it's kind of chunky. Next I'm going to lay down some more salami. I think 4 slices will be enough because we've got to fit the mozzarella on there. And then I've got these little mozzarella pearls here, which I'm just going to dot around. You can just use normal balls of mozzarella if you want and just break them up. I strongly suggest that you use buffalo mozzarella because it's a much nicer cheese for this kind of thing. Okay, so that's that done, and it's now ready for the grill. Now that won't take very long at all to cook, maybe a couple of minutes. And what you're looking for is for that top to be nice and set, the cheese nice and melted, and that salami just slightly crisp. So I'll see you folks in a couple of minutes, we'll dish it up and we'll have a taste. Right, so I've took it out from under the grill. Now I suggest you leave it to sit for a couple of minutes, alright? Firstly, because it's going to be blindingly hot, and secondly, if you just allow it to relax for a few minutes, all those flavours are going to get to know each other, and it's actually easier to get it out of the pan. I'm not going to take it out of the pan because I'm going to leave it in here because it's nice for the thumbnail, and it's just kind of nice for sharing. But to take it out, all you do is just get a spatula underneath, release it from the bottom. If you've got a good non-stick pan, that should be easy, and then just kind of tilt the pan and just slide it out onto a plate. But for this, I'm just going to cut myself a nice slice and then we'll give it a try. Right, let's tuck into this little beauty, see how it tastes. I'm just going to cut a piece off because I don't want to get in too much of a mess. Okay, kind of get a bit of that cheese, a bit of that egg, and of course some of that crisp salami as well. And there we have it. Let's go in. It's got all the flavours of a pizza. You get that nice kind of creamy egg just sitting underneath. And I must stress that buffalo mozzarella really makes a difference. Normal mozzarella is fine, but buffalo mozzarella makes it exceptional. It's much more creamier, it's got much more flavour, and it's got a very slight astringency to it, which lends itself really well to this kind of thing. It's a brilliant little dish, really simple to make, and like I've said a million times before, it tastes wizard. Well, and there we are guys, the pizza frittata, simple as you like, tastes blooming marvellous, and it's probably better for you as well, especially if you're kind of watching your carbs and you don't want too much bread. And of course pizza dough is bread in a sense, so it's kind of good for that sort of thing. You can make it in half the time as you would a pizza. You're not going to have to wait for the dough to prove and all that kind of stuff, and it's really, really good. Well, that's it for today guys. I hope you like the recipe. Let me know in the comments what you think, and also if you've got any other suggestions, and of course stick around at the end because there'll be some links to some of the videos. And if you're not a subscriber and you want to subscribe, there'll be a button for that as well. And I'll see you beautiful people next time for more tasty fun and frolics, and bye for now.